don't make the mistake of going in and thinking that you're going to see a regular action movie or a regular comic book movie. This is something where this is more character driven than anything. And the only thing I can say bad about that is that the more invested you become into these characters, the more you're going to feel the pain when something terrible happens. I mean, there's so many times when they set up these touching moments and you let your guard down, and when you do, them claws just thrust into your stomach and just rip your guts out, man. And I felt hurt watching this movie half the time, but that is a wonderful thing. The fact that 20th Century Fox came, you want to sing that Kermit shit? Go ahead, do it.
I will make you hurt.
Now shut the fuck up. You got it. Oh, the Wolverine! I don't even know what animal that is.
That was a wolf mixed with a moose.
mixed with a reed. I don't know why I did that, but we're talking about the Wolverine. No, he ain't going by Wolverine no more. He's a man now. Old man. Took
his
a while.
slave name.
Yeah, it's Logan. Old man Logan. Yeah, and see, here's the thing. There's a difference between Wolverine and Logan. Now, y'all remember Wolverine back in the day. Y'all remember that first X-Men movie that came out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, where we had Wolverine where he could cut people up so clean, they ain't even bleed.
Yeah, it was he stabbed you and cauterized the wound at the same time.
At the same time. Surgical with them hands right there. You know, and that was good because you didn't get all that bloody mess and scare the kids.
Right. It's for the children.
For the children. He could sell a lot of Sprite and Slurpees after that, you know.
After stabbing people.
After stabbing people. You know, put them on a cereal box. You know, and that's cool, you know, because they got different versions of Wolverine out there. You know, you got that Wolverine who's kind of edgy, but that was about as edgy as we hoped that he would get. You know, the rest of it, you know, it's for the kids. Disney got y'all. You know, we got the plushies out there, and, you know, we got Wolverine with a case of gigantism or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Dwarfism.
Yeah.
Dwarfism. Yeah.
and butter knife blades.
Yeah, exactly. Them dull-ass blades, you know.
I'm going to make you a sandwich.
Yeah.
Let me glue this rake on the back of your hands.
Just mustard flying everywhere. Oh, God.
Let me scratch your itch for you.
With them popsicle sticks he got on his hand. Just because you paying them silver don't mean we don't know. Schnick. But yeah, you know, they got the kids down right there. You know, so far, old Wolverine, he's been for the kids, but now Logan come out and 20th Century Fox pretty much saying fuck your kids.
Yeah, kids can go to hell.
Fuck these kids.
Kids
right
don't
here.
buy tickets.
Yeah. You can go ahead and bring the kids, them little bastards, this move you want to.
You'll be sorry.
Yeah, go ahead and bring that little asses there. I'll be staring at that plushie and be trembling and shit when they get home.
Squeezing even harder.
Don't hurt me. Never hurt me, Logan. Go ahead, bring them. Yeah, they don't care because right now you have 20th Century Fox taking a huge risk with this movie right here. That's admirable, whether the movie's good or not. That's admirable enough as it is. And it's not just getting away from the kiddie stuff. I mean, they're coming in and they're talking about how they're just sick of comic book movies in general.
Yeah.
Sick of comic books if you really get down to it. There's even a point in the movie where Logan is looking at a comic book and saying, this ain't us.
We got ourselves an X-Men fan. Maybe a quarter of it happened, and not like this.
You know, that comic book right there, they ball that shit up and they roll it up and hit you on the head and say, no, we ain't doing that stupid shit right now. And a lot of people are saying, wow, you know, that seems kind of wrong for a movie that had its roots deep in comic book lore and mythology and even the films to come out and be so against it now. And I'm going to go right out and say, yeah, it is against it because really the genre has been going through a kind of cut and paste feel right now. You know, the whole genre of comic book movies, people are saying they're beginning to resemble each other way too much now. And fortunately, we have a film like this because we have one comic book character that came in and was successful with the rated R rating that now other people are willing to take a chance. And some people are saying, well, who better? And the person who did it first was Deadpool. But who better to come in than Deadpool's side-hand man, Wolverine, a.k.a. Logan, to take the next step forward with that. And with this, you got Hugh Jackman, who everybody says, man, I don't care what you do from this point on, you are Wolverine.
Oh,
man.
yeah. You can never escape that.
Don't care how much you dance and tap on Broadway.
It's Wolverine in the French Revolution.
Yeah, exactly.
He's been alive so long, he could have been him.
I'm not Logan.
Then why'd you slice up all these things? Damn it. Shit.
Time the claws slip.
Yeah. You know, it's and what they have here is that while he is Wolverine, everything that made him Wolverine is kind of dying. The other X-Men are gone in this world. It's 2029, I believe. It's the near future. And only him and you could probably count them on one hand, the mutants that are left. And he's about to go himself. His healing abilities are going away. They're fading. And every time he pulls those claws out, he gets infection. He starts feeling sick. And he says, you know what? I just want to retire. I want to take old ass Professor X, who he's just pretty much taken care of now.
Yeah, because he's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's got dementia. He's just old. He's 90-something years old. And those two just have each other along with Caliban. We'll talk about him in a little while. But he's been earning some money the hard way. And he's just about to like find some place that they can both just go and just die with some dignity.
Yeah, get a boat and just sail out until the sunset.
Exactly. Or tip his ass over and feed it some sharks. But you know, look, the rabbits. But right when he's about to move on with his life, or he thinks he is, they have a little girl that comes in. And the little girl, what's her name? Laura comes in, and turns out that him and Laura have a lot more in common. And even though he doesn't want to have anything to do with her, these powers that she has, the claws, the healing ability, if nothing else, he has to try to get this girl to a safe place in Canada where a new crop of mutants have called it Eden, where no one will bother them. Maybe there's some secret about her that he can learn about himself. And, you know, with this movie right here, yeah, I don't care how many people complain about how this has turned his back on his roots. This is needed right now. We have too many films in this genre that are coming out that are starting to look alike, and not only starting to look alike, but the whole comic book genre is starting to be taken over by spectacle. You know, once it's oversaturated, everybody starts taking the safe route under that PG-13 umbrella, and then you get things like this.
Everything they've built, we'll build up.
Shut the fuck up.
You like that auto-tune?
Oh, you want to hear the auto-tune? There you go. No, you know that X-Men Apocalypse just came out a year ago, and it was nothing but a bunch of special effects, not characters, special effects beating the shit out of each
The
other.
sad thing was they did such a great job with Days of Future Past.
Yes.
And they reset it so they could go like, all right, now we're starting over. We can course correct and make these much better. And instead they came out with Age of Apocalypse. And it's like, oh boy, you're back behind where you were before.
Yeah.
By pulling back the spectacle, by pulling back the special effects, and by making it rated R, they probably made the most human X-Men movie that has ever been out there. These characters have never had more humanity than they had right now. And that might not be good for everybody who is familiar with something else with this, because I never read it. Martin, I'm sure you did. But this is based on Old Man Logan.
It's not really.
Well, you know what? It is.
I mean, it might have been the inspiration for it, but anybody going to see Logan thinking they're going to see Old Man Logan, it's not the same story.
And that's why y'all probably be upset, because this loosely based on that, and only in the case that they took the central character, Old Man Logan, and pulled him out of that.
It's just that Logan is old. I mean, older. That's the only similarity, really. Because even watching the trailer, we were all like, "Man, this looks like it's post-apocalyptic." No, it's just in Mexico.
And people are like, what's the difference?
I mean, it's only a few years in the future. There's no apocalypse that's happened.
And we didn't see a wall.
Yeah. There's no wall. I mean, the big thing is that most of the mutants are dead, which you have to assume the Reavers, if you read comics, are the ones who've killed off most of them, if not some virus.
Yeah. See, y'all who read that, and some who even haven't, y'all looking at this is a Wolverine movie, and y'all expecting to see things like, especially those who read the Old Man Logan comic, like, oh shit, I can't wait for that part when he fights the Hulk's son.
Oh yeah, and when blind Hawkeye is driving him around, like, no.
Yeah, it's because in the book it's like it's a supervillain apocalypse.
Right.
And they taking over the country, and this right here, that ain't none of that is in here. Like Martin said, they just put if by putting somebody in a bunch of dirt and putting them in a tin shack out in the middle of nowhere, if that's apocalyptic enough for you, then you'll be more than happy with this, because that's what they got going on here. And the cool thing about them pulling this all the way back is that all these years, man, all these years, people have been so scared of mutants. People have treated them like they're gods or demons. And by the end of it all, at the end of the day, everybody ended up the same. Everybody just trying to get by. Everybody, it's almost like this movie don't even like Wolverine.
True.
Yeah.
That does seem like that.
It's almost like the movie could be called "Fuck Wolverine," and you probably wouldn't know the difference, because in the movie they got him. They do him bad, man. Like at one time, this man went through. He fought supervillains. He time traveled at one time.
Yep.
He saved the world how many times? And what things does he get? Well, he gets a job driving a limousine around.
Yeah.
I mean, and driving, not just, he's not even like nice chauffeur. He
ain't Jason Statham.
He ain't the importer or whatever it's called.
Transporter.
The transporter, whatever. He's wearing a nasty, cheap ass Man's Warehouse suit. He's driving assholes around. He's driving kids who want to prom.
Yeah.
Bachelorette parties.
Bachelorette parties.
Well, hell, the first scene in this movie is him attempting to get robbed in his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drive in the limo he's driving. He had to buy himself, got dents in it and everything. It's like watching the most glamorous A-list actor you've ever seen, and then calling the Uber and one day noticing that they driving for you.
Yep.
It's like if you call Uber and Denzel was in there and he was drunk.
Are you researching a part? I wish.
Flight 2. What?
Yeah, researching a part. Sure.
If you mean by looking at Google Maps, yeah, I'm researching the part. Where the fuck you going? Research that shit. It's gonna sound like a backhanded compliment here, but I never thought I'd see the day where I'd look at Wolverine and I would say, man, it sucks to be you. I never want to be you. I'm happy to be me.
Well, you also think about through all the movies and the history how Professor Xavier was always the guy who would stay reserved and held it together no matter what was going on. He was like, come, let me talk to you, get in your head. Everything's going to be all right. Mutant kind and humankind is going to get together. And now, yeah, he's a demented old man who's just yelling like Mr. Magoo. And they have this father-son relationship where they constantly yelling at each other.
You got to take it out your mind that this is a superhero movie, because it's an anti-superhero film. With this movie, they really are trying to. I'm gonna pull up a clip right here, because what they're really trying to do is they're trying to make a film where, while they're deconstructing the superhero genre, they're trying to also evolve it too. I mean, one of the things I thought about making a rated R movie when Deadpool came out, I said, you know what, these guys, everybody's pushing for a rated R movie now. And I'm so afraid that they're going to just start putting in more blood, more nudity, more tits.
Well, when we got Batman versus Superman, it was just like, oh no, this is going to go horribly wrong.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was almost like, with a lot of people are saying, we got the extended cut where Batman says fuck.
Right.
It's like people are trying to do it for the buck now because, we can. They're like little kids who are able to curse for the first time.
It's like with 3D, where they're slapping 3D on movies where you're like, that didn't need that. That was completely unnecessary.
Yeah. But with this, they did exactly what I thought that they would never do. They took advantage of the R rating and said, you know what, let's use this for deeper storytelling. Let's use this for bigger character development. You've been keeping quiet, Mr. Goodwin over there. What's up?
No, I was letting y'all have y'all time.
No, I want to hear you, man, because you got that resting bitch face over there.
I always have resting bitch face. That's my
I'll
face.
let y'all get it out so I can come step on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me preface everything I'm about to say with this first. I fucking hate Wolverine as a character. I can't stand him. I feel like he is a walking fucking paradox. Like, he always talks about, like, he's, 400-something years old, 300 years old, and he's always like, I don't need nobody, bub. I'm a loner. I'm a solo guy. And then, 10 minutes later, Kikyo! Or more, for somebody dying, he's crying and bawling his fucking eyes out. out. So and I think he's way overexposed of all the mutants that they have.
Okay.
He gets a lot of time. But this movie, man, this movie made me think, wow, I want to see more of Wolverine. It's something where I think it's a really, really needed take on a superhero film. Like you said, it's not even really a superhero flick. It's just a guy trying to survive and finish a job. I really liked the serious tone it had. I enjoyed Corey here in the camera.
Oh, sorry.
He's gonna mouth the words while I talk. Yeah. So the thing I like about it was that it was really
Some mutant power ventriloquism.
yeah, it's the worst one ever. But yeah, it's one of those things where it was taken in a serious tone. It completely needed that R rating for especially all the stuff that we saw in here. That R rating didn't feel tacked on, and the story was interesting. It's not 100% original, but it's still something where we haven't seen this done for the most part in a superhero film or a comic book film.
Yeah, and here's the thing about it, man. I mean, it's don't think that we're talking about how deep this is and how this movie is. It's the thinking man's comic book movie. I mean, that's scaring some people away. Like, I want to see some action. I want to see, I want to see him do.
Don't worry, you get plenty of that.
It's Wolverine, because they're not under that umbrella of the PG-13 anymore. He can lose his shit now.
Yeah.
So you
almost want to get up and cheer just because it's like, finally, this is what I've been waiting on. How many years now?
Oh yeah,
since the X-Men started, like what?
17.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah, it was with the first X-Men movie came out in 2000.
And those claws, I ain't never seen his claws exit out of people's heads in so many places. They go
He's like John Wick.
Yo, yeah. They go at the top of a head, they go through the back of a head. There's one part where they even go through a man's face and you see it. Even the guy's looking like, God damn, he's looking at the blade himself like, shit, is that me?
I didn't consider he could do that.
Yeah, it is, and you have to be warned. I mean, we're saying this and we're kind of joking around, but you have to be warned. This is when you say you want the Wolverine that you've been craving all these years. You probably want to be careful what you ask for, because in this he literally loses his shit. He goes berserk, several times in this, and it is indeed they do not shy away from the violence. Once he loses his mind, there are limbs and faces all over the floor.
It's scary. At some parts, you're like, oh, he's gonna be. He's gonna say oh no, stop.
Yeah, because we're used to him holding back or them pulling the camera away,
right?
Or you're not seeing the blood or how gory it can be, and it's right there, and you're like, oh, I'm scared, but kind of thrilled at the same time. But as much as he loses it, you got little Laura X23. She's a little monster herself. It's almost like he has to go wild just because she does. He's like, well, wait a minute, this is still my movie. I can't let this little girl show me up. But she's right on it.
I mean, there are points in this movie where I got mad because it was so brutal. It was so violent, and it was almost in some ways so cold.
Yeah,
I looked at this and I really did. I was upset. I was like, that's just too goddamn far, Logan.
You dad?
Yeah. Come here, boy. Let me talk to you. I was confused as how to feel, because there are things that happen in the movie where they don't apologize for it. They say this is what happens when you hang out with people like this, and this is why people like this probably don't need to be around humans. All those years that we've been arguing for mutants, no, get the fuck out. They don't need to be here. And I while I was upset about it, I had to think, I was in the car, I was mad, man, because I said I want to like this movie, but I'm pissed right now.
That's good.
But I had to. But then I say, oh, they're trying to teach me something.
I'm learning.
I saw myself in the rearview mirror, like, look at yourself. You're a better man because of this movie right here. It really is telling you that, everything that you've seen in all those other movies, we're here to tell you right now that it would not work out the way that you saw it there. It would not be pretty.
Well, because always before, they all hung out together at the mansion. And when they're out in the world amongst people, it's like you said, it's not a good mix.
These people, as I said, they just want to be people. I mean, you look at Patrick Stewart as Professor X, where he was that cool dude, all regal in the suit and that wheelchair, rolling around in style and everything. Really, he's just a nursing home on wheels right now.
2 days on the road, only one meal and hardly any sleep. She's 11, I'm fucking 19.
I mean, you can see how frail he is, man.
Oh yeah, and he's like the kind of angry old person that don't want to take their medication.
And the thing, he has to take his medication, because when these people get sick, it don't have the same effects as it does with humans. I mean, when a regular old person has dementia, well, they just shit in their diapers. But when he has dementia, he takes out about 5 city blocks.
Yeah, he is a nuke rolling around.
Yeah. And that is the cool thing about this. We see how they're worn down. Their powers have taken a burden on them, and they just want to be human like everybody else. But it's a world that can't have them because they're too dangerous for this world. And a big part of being able to capture that humanity and that pain is the actors that you have. Everybody in this movie is
Everybody
great.
shows up.
Everybody's amazing.
There was no Jennifer Lawrence of Age of Apocalypse.
You know,
I am Mystique.
there was no person that didn't give a fuck. You know,
Right.
who
Yeah.
was just showing up, knowing it was going to be bad, and knowing it was going to be bad, and just wanted to check. I mean, everybody is good in this. Even people that I thought were the most comic bookish in the movie. You had the lead Reaver, whatever his name is,
Donald Pierce?
Holbrook. What's his name? Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah.
In the movie, he's probably the most comic bookish that you get out of the characters, and he's still fun to watch, which is important because he brings as a villain, even he brings most of the humor that you see in the movie.
No. No. No.
Fuck you.
I love the way Patrick Stewart was like, man, don't fuck with her. Oh shit. He was like, too late.
I want to say something, but
Y'all gonna learn.
Even that guy was like, what happened? He looking at his throat up in the air right now. Somebody catch my Adam's apple. But you know, it's and as for the actors in here, we're talking about the adults, but Daphne Keane is the actress who plays Laura in here. What's her name? X23.
X23.
Yeah, who's part of an experiment of people trying to bring the mutants back. And it's not because, it's not just because, the action scene she looks cool in, some of that special effects anyway. There's a lot, as with most of the movie, there's a lot of dramatic parts that she has to capture. I mean, before she whips out the
Without
claws.
talking.
Yeah, without dialogue.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if this was my little girl, after this was done, I'd take her ass to therapy, man.
Yeah.
Because she has to carry so much emotional weight in this. She's actually really amazing. It's one of those things where you really hope that she goes further with in her acting career.
This is also a film where there are serious moments, but there's also still that tone of this still is a comic book film, and there's still humor being injected into this. They were having action scenes punctuated throughout this, plus the humor, plus all this other stuff, and even having the comic book in here telling you that this is a comic book movie. I feel like they kind of weave the world.
I don't think he did that. I think they had the comic book movie in there, the comic book to say this is not what this is. Because he said himself, he's like, none of this is true.
I know, but there are all those other sci-fi elements. I mean, you got a guy with a robot arm and a little girl with metal claws. There's all that in there. It stayed balanced. It's almost like I got to penalize you for doing this thing that all these other movies did because you were so good before. So now you don't.
Actually, I do. I do. It did a very good job at setting itself up. But by the point you made my point right there for him. By the time they get to the point where it's just getting to, and it ends before it gets too long, but when they get to being a standard action movie and being the comic book movie that they tried to stay away from before, I'm like, yeah, it's not working for me that much.
I never felt it became a standard action movie because even in the last part, even though there's action, because at this point you want to see the action or it has have a more dramatic conclusion. But it stayed true to itself, and even within there, I thought they did find different ways to use the fighting.
You summed up pretty much how I feel about it, I guess, and that the first 2/3 it felt really different and unique, and I guess I felt like it was really an elevated comic book movie, and then for me it felt like it got pretty tropish in like the last half hour.
Tell him, Gert. Tell him. Let him know.
Okay, trope didn't come into it for me at all.
Okay.
Outside of the fact that it was very much structured like a Western. If you're talking about that, okay, sure, it set itself up like that and it ended that way.
I don't want to spoil it because I can.
We'll talk
about it.
And I'll tell you the other
Mike to say
thing.
it.
I can tell that you want to put it out there so bad, and it's something we could probably tell later. And I mean, we're not going to agree on that point, but the other thing though is that speaking of these henchmen, I'm thinking, okay, you know something, y'all are not working you're working for an organization, but you're mercenaries. You could probably quit anytime you want. Because it's going through the whole thing of like, when you see the 50th head rolling the ground, I think somebody would be like, you know what, I'm going home. I'm not doing this. I'm going home with my head attached to my body.
I just kind of figured they were, one, they were mercenaries, or two, that they were in debt to this company because when they all have robot arms. So I'm figuring like if they got robot arms, there's got to be something else on them that could blow up if they turn away from it.
But they never said, you know. So I'm just looking at this and I'm just kind of like, look, I can understand. Y'all know what Wolverine does, but once that little girl comes in between the both of them, somebody got to be like, no, fuck this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like if you go by that logic, I mean, if these people hired them, they know where they are. So like, if I need to take you out, I can get somebody else to come and get you too. My money is endless. Yours isn't. You can't
maybe
run
they didn't
so
even
far.
take the check yet and be like, you know what, keep the money. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
But you can say that about any movie with henchmen.
I
Say that about John Wick.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
all
have
you gotta
that
do-
issue with
all you
it.
gotta do is see how the Joker fires people to go, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Again, we're talking about a movie that set itself up to be higher than that, and so I'm going to actually.
but that's
I'm
a
going to go
construct
in
in your head.
and I'm going to. But it could be in your head too. You
But
see
it's
things.
not, 'cause
No,
it
it
wasn't
is.
there.
It is. I mean, we see different things.
Professor Xavier, you're gonna put it in my
Oh
head.
yeah, I do, because you got your opinion, I got mine. It's like you can
Sure.
make up the excuses that you want, and I can make up the things I see right here. And I see that
Okay.
I see that the movie did such a great job that it failed on some other parts because it didn't stick with that. Thing is, I like the movie, so we just sitting up here fighting over
sounds
nothing.
Sounds like you hate it, man.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. We were just talking about this. We were in this shit together. You mother-
I didn't have the
I
issue
know.
with the henchmen personally.
Next, you're gonna get hypnotized.
Shit, you are a henchman right now. Shut the fuck up. You they henchman.
Girls, where's your cup and spoon? See,
I'll slice your ass right now. Come on, work butter knives. No, you know it, and if there's you know, I'm not done yet. I mean, there's more wrong with this movie. But wait, there's more.
dare they?
No, I don't. I actually don't have anything else to say. I was just saying that because I think that the movie did such a great job of what it did that the things that fall short are noticeable. But even those things are very small in there. Don't make the mistake of going in and thinking that you're going to see a regular action movie or a regular comic book movie. This is something where this is more character driven than anything. And the only thing I can say bad about that is that the more invested you become into these characters, the more you're going to feel the pain when something terrible happens. I mean, there's so many times when they set up these touching moments and you let your guard down, and when you do, them claws just thrust into your stomach and just rip your guts out, man. And I felt hurt watching this movie half the time, but that is a wonderful thing. The fact that 20th Century Fox came, you want to say that Kermit shit? Go ahead, do it.
I will make you hurt.
Now shut the fuck up. You got it's that look. Even when I said it, I said he's gonna do it.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it! Oh, have you heard about the bird?
I was just thinking about that.
Oh no!
I hurt myself today.
I regret showing him that fucking video. I hate you.
It's man. This is making this a rated R movie. Probably, I love that they're taking chances now with the freedom that they have and not just doing it in the cheapest way. So, I just to sum it up, I give this a very high full price. Very high full price. It'd almost be better than Sex for me if it wasn't for the mind-numbing violence and the henchmen. But
Oh my God.
or if John Wick came in, that would be
Reeves, then everything's cool.
Jackman should use more guns, headshots.
Go on, traitor.
Okay, well, for the first 2/3, I was loving it. I thought I really liked that it was taking all of these creative chances and delving in deeper with these characters than we've ever seen an X-Men movie do before. But again, like for that last third, I felt like it stopped taking chances and played it really safe and kind of turned into the very thing that I was pretty sick of seeing. So because of that, like throughout this whole thing, I was like, this is a high full price. This is one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. But that last third, it bumped it down hard for me. I give it a matinee. Though I love the last shot, the very last shot of the movie. I liked a lot. But yeah, that last 45 minutes or half hour is like,
Man, it's just creeping up. It was 20 minutes and a half hour, now 45
Man,
minutes.
that last 2 hours of that movie, man, I was not feeling it.
Start making up hours, man. That last 4 hours, man.
Talking about the OJ movie.
yeah, that last 3 weeks.
When he started cutting people, I didn't appreciate that. So matinee?
I give it a matinee.
Now you want to cut a bitch, don't you?
Well, he's new here.
Yeah, it's easy to get mad at me. No, that's fine.
You
That's
were feeding
fine.
his ego earlier. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what you're talking about, but I agree with you.
Y'all ain't see how they don't turn on him.
I had a hunch I was going to be the odd man out on this one.
Oh, you odd, all right.
Yeah.
With this, man, this is one of those things where, like, you're right. The first 2/3 is something that it feels like it's new. It does something that you haven't really done with comic book, or I've seen done with comic book movies. Is it makes you actually care about these people and know that they're not invincible. They gave you sneak previews of everything of what these people can do in the first 2 hours or the first hour and 45 minutes, and then the end they're like, all right, this is what they're going to do. This is when they ratchet it up to berserker mode and bring in some other elements, and I really appreciated that. This is definitely a full price for me, dude.
Oh yeah. Now, why would it not be better than sex?
He already gave out 2 of those.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it usually follows along the same lines as it does for Martin, where it doesn't like make me cry or something like, wow, I haven't seen this entire film done in a new way.
I thought, well, it's been so good, and here's where it could kind of go lame, and it didn't disappoint me at all. I was thoroughly impressed with the way it ended, because it pretty much set up and said, like, look, this is what we're coming to, and it could have pulled a No Country for Old Men, but it didn't. It gave me the money shot. So yeah, it's a high full price.
Bringing that rated R Spider-Man movie.
I don't want to see that. Hell no.
Going through puberty, jacking off in his room.
Webbing.
Yeah. It's just webbing. Man, it's just webbing.
You fucking liar, son.
Gamefly brings to your house, to you, over 8,000 new releases and classics that are available to rent, or you can buy them for almost every system out there, current and some old systems. Like I said, man, I've been trying to put my GameCube back to work for years. Gamefly has given me an excuse to do that. And you could even try 30 days for free by typing in gameflyoffer.com/double toasted. And when you do that, you'll get 30 days for free of games and movies. Get all those things, all of them at once. Just stay in the house. Don't go nowhere, because they're all going to get brought right to your mailbox. You can also bring the element of surprise every month to your home in the form of a Loot Crate mystery box. In that box, I can't tell you what it is, but I can guarantee you it is the best in geek and gaming gear. Some people say it's like having Comic-Con brought right to your home. You don't have to leave the house for nothing. You're getting all kind of stuff. And everybody likes a little surprise every month. Just a little bit. And here's another surprise for you. If you go to our link, trylootcrate.com/double toasted, and you type in bridge 10, that's the word bridge and the number 10, you can get 10% off, a 10% discount on your first crate. How's that for a surprise right there? Loot Crate, bring the mystery and the surprise to your mailbox once a month with Loot Crate. Hey everyone, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel and go over to our home, doubletoasted.com, for more videos and live streams. And remember, stay toasty.